Okay. And are we live?
I have to.
What's telling me we're on YouTube? Yeah, live everywhere. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. I'm really excited to have my good friend with me, Brad from Shamanitas.org. He's one of my affiliates that I use all the time. And I just have to read a disclaimer before we get into it. So I wrote, this is for the YouTube portion. We're going to go on Rumble, okay? But tonight's episode is for educational, historical, and spiritual discussion. We're going to explore ancient symbolism, ancient traditions, mythological references, and esoteric perspectives. Nothing in this show is for medical advice, nor are we promoting the ingestion of any substances. Always follow local laws and consult a licensed professional for health-related matters. This conversation is for open-minded exploration of conscious studies. Your discretion and discernment are advised. And I have my good friend, like I said, Brad, with me. He's going to be talking about the amazing stuff of Amanita, and we're going to get into a lot of stuff tonight with Manly P. Hall, and I mean, it's going to go really deep, guys, tonight, like really deep. So with all that said, I'd like to give him a big warm welcome back to the show. Brad, thanks so much for coming back on, man. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me, man. Good to be back, especially this time of year. It's always fun.
Yeah,
and,
right.
You read
this ties
you read
right
the disclaimer,
sorry, good. It's like
no, go ahead.
Time. Yeah.
I said you read that disclaimer like one of those commercials, for big pharma. Like, like you could like get a side hustle, doing
hilarious,
that.
Man. I guess I don't have to play the disclaimer at the bottom of the screen now, though, because I already read the disclaimer, so I don't need to. I can take that away. So yeah, but anyway, but this is the best time of year. This is when I love the fact that this ties into the Amanita story and the Christmas story, and it's Did you want to start off with that,
Yeah, so we're gonna start. And the Amanita story keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more. It's got more influence on more and more things going on, And as we put in the title, especially this incoming object that they're calling 3-Eye Atlas, or the Third Eye Atlas, which is what I like to call it. So, can I share my screen now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You have to. How do I do that?
I'm excited for something. So this is going to be a really good show. Yeah. Oh, Renee's in the audience. Hi, Renee.
Hey, Renee. So while you're setting that up, I'll just kind of read my preamble. So yeah, what we're going to talk about, we're going to get into a lot of symbolism and metaphor and allegory, and like how to look at the world through that lens. The lens that Manly P. Hall, 33rd degree Freemason, told us about symbolism. What he said was symbolism is a language of the mysteries. In fact, it's the language not only of mysticism and philosophy, but of all nature. For every law and power active in universal procedure is manifested to the limited sense perceptions of man through the medium of symbol. He also said, when the human race learns to read the language of symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of men. And clearly it feels like we're in that time, right? More and more people are, what do they call it? The Great Awakening, or the Great Awareness, or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Clearly something's happened. People are seeing things more, and they're seeing more symbolic. Like when we get one of these big events on TV and they talk about it's been 33 hours to catch the guy, everybody goes like, okay, Cash Patel. We know what you're talking about. We know what's going on here. It's part of your theater, right? So, and then I thought it'd be appropriate too, as part of this conversation, to look at Tesla's symbolism. He gave us a very cryptic riddle, right? The 3, 6, 9. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe. So it's kind of like Manly P. Hall, like you want the veil to fall from your eyes so you can see reality for the way it is. You want the key to the universe, Tesla. So, what was he talking? I always thought he was talking about like the Rodin coil. Have you seen that? Mark Rodin?
Yeah.
Where he kind of shows like there's clearly something to the 3, 6, 9 if you put it in some kind of a magnetic flux pattern. So is it related to free energy? Is that the key to the universe, or is it something else? And I think, well, we'll get into how the 3, 6, 9 to me represents these sacred numbers that point to being able to, like as the Christ said, connect to the kingdom within and open your third eye to connect to the all and all power, all glory, all knowing, you know, outside of time. That's the key to the universe, as far as I'm concerned, right? And that's what we're going to get into.
I love this.
Yeah. So that's the setup. So can I share my screen yet?
Yeah, it's not popping up. It's got to pop. It'll pop up. Once you share it, it'll pop up at the bottom of the screen, and then I'll add it.
To go to the StreamYard interface to do it.
You go to like the bottom of the screen. There's like a little screen with a plus sign at the bottom, and then you click on that.
Oh, okay.
It'll say share screen. Then you hit share screen again. Then entire screen, and it's like 3 things you have to do. It's like, I know it's annoying. It's like, you know.
Oh, select the tab. Okay.
I might be able to get it up. Let me see if I can pull up the document.
I think this is it right here.
I don't know if I can.
Can you see that?
My computer's really slow. Let me see if it popped up. No, it didn't pop up for some. Wait, it's blocking off my screen. It didn't pop up for some reason.
It says I'm sharing.
I don't know why. Like, it didn't. It should pop up at the bottom of the screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, but now my screen's stuck. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let me go out and come back in. This is insane. Like, they're always messing with me. Hold on 1 second, Brad. Let me just figure this out here.
1 minute later.
Oh, there it is. Okay, wait. No, how do I stop this from going?
What?
Okay, there. I want to stay on page. Okay, and I want to add this to the stage. Okay, it's letting me now. Okay, it's not letting me. Is it adding? I hit it. I'm gonna try it again. Come on. Okay, now
you can bring it up on that.
There it goes. There it goes. It's just moving slow.
Oh, okay. You see the image now?
Yeah. We're good.
You got the graphic?
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's amazing. Yeah. That's like,
I painted that yesterday.
That looks like it could be like 3 Atlas, even down like on an LED.
That's,
yeah.
No, we'll get into what all the elements of this are, the symbolism, right? So, yeah, I went to one of these, image creation programs based on the text prompt, right? And I said, give me an image that's got the Amanita muscaria mushroom, which we equate to Christ consciousness, and the Tat Vamasi of the Hindu, and the connection to the all and the divine spark, and the the infinite awareness. And I said, we've seen that motif in some of these chapels around the world, like in Germany or France, where we've got a motif of Adam and Eve and the temptation in the garden with the fruit, and you will be all knowing like God, right? And so I said, give me the serpent wrapped around the Amanita. And it did that. And I said, give me Adam and Eve. And I said, give me Joseph and Mary and the manger with Jesus under the star of Bethlehem, or the star of the east, that the 3 wise men followed. And I said, give me. So these are all themes around the one thing that all these things represent, which is the activation of your Christ consciousness via your crown chakra, via Kundalini, the raising of your Kundalini energy, which translates to coiled snake at the base of your spine. It's not the evil devil, it's the coiled snake in your spine, the energy. And I said, give me, in the Old Testament, we've got Jacob wrestling with God, and he saw God face to face, and he realized who he really was at a place called Pineal. So we've got kind of the same motif in the Old Testament as the New Testament. In the New Testament, we've got Matthew 6:22, where Jesus says, if your eye be single, your body will be full of light. Well, that's the same idea, activating your pineal and meeting God face to face, which is ultimately you. And I said, and give me the Santa Claus motif. We know Santa Claus in his red and white represents kind of these northern philosophies around the Amanita Muscaria, and the same idea is where Santa is flying with the reindeer because they've consumed the Amanita, and then he comes down the chimney where there's a fire typically, and in Kundalini practices, that chimney would represent your spinal column, and the fire on the bottom of the chimney is your Vedic Agni masculine fire, and the Soma is like at the top of your skull, and they come together in the alchemical marriage in your heart chakra. And so I wanted to bring all those motifs in and then kind of tie it all into the symbols that the controllers, the people that are running our reality are giving us right now, which is this third eye atlas idea. And so it basically put, I like this image out of it painted a couple for me, but this image in particular, because it's got the Star of Bethlehem, Star of the East, third eye atlas right in the middle of the picture, shining down on the Christ consciousness being born into the world, in this scene. And I thought it was pretty fantastic that you've got this male and this female looking down, and they're, at the same time, they're Adam and Eve and Joseph and Mary, which, in the esoteric, it's all the same thing. It's this divine masculine energy, divine feminine energy coming together to activate your Kundalini energy, right? So third eye atlas, I think something big is about to happen. Like, we've been waiting for a while. We've been told like there's going to be an event coming, right? Where we're all going to see it no matter where you are, right? And you're going to know what it is. And this could maybe be it. Because just like,
do you think it ties into the prophecy of the blue cachina? I've been asking a lot of people that when they bring this up, because like it was weird that the Hopi talked about the blue cachina for so long,
It was certainly, since they're telling us it's blue right now, or it's green or blue, or I don't know, like it's like switching chakra colors, as we speak, but we don't really have any solid images of it, right? I think there's some amateur astronomers giving us pictures. NASA's really not doing much now, but yeah, I think, there is this tie into the blue cachina, which represents the coming of a new age as well, right? And so, like in terms of new ages, we all know that we're kind of coming out of the Vedic Kali Yuga, the dark age, coming into this new age of awareness. Trump's calling it the golden age, right? Gold represents like a high awareness time, like during Atlantis, that sort of a thing. When you look at the cycle of time, the 25,920 year precession of the equinox, it's like we're going to move back to that, and it seems like it's all happening now. And I think the blue cachina is part of that, right? What do you know about the blue? What do you know about the blue cachina?
I know it was supposed to be like it was supposed to like foster and change, right? They predicted that something like mankind would change, right? Is that? I think that's what
they talk about, right? The fifth. It's the start of the fifth world, the new world, right? So out with the old, in with the new, and it certainly seems like everything coming into play now. You've got like this AI, and I think it's like, this is the place of duality, right? This realm. And you've always got like an esoteric meaning and a physical meaning. So like we've got like this birth, to me, like the blue cachina and what's happening now is a rebirth of, it's a second coming of Christ, the rebirth of Christ consciousness, more people getting that awareness, like looking into self and realizing that there's way more to themselves than they were led to believe, and people are becoming more aware of that. That's part of this Christ consciousness rising, the return of the Christ. At the same time, we've got the birth of AI, right? And so that's kind of the counter to, there's two types of people here. The Bible would call it the wheat and the tares. You've got the people that are seeking truth and divinity and being their highest and best self. And you've got people that are just here to like take advantage of the material pleasures and hedonism, right? And that's and they're like into science, the science of the materialist, the religion of the materialist is science. And so like at the same time, we got like the birth of AI and the birth of Christ consciousness competing, right? And it's kind of like you have to kind of pick sides. For me, I kind of like leverage a little AI to get us this amazing motif, so there's clearly something else going on. Like they're all kind of working towards the same goal. If you look at AI as kind of tool you can use. You know, not to do everything for yourself, but use it in ways. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what the blue cachina represents. Yeah, like we're going into this new age, and I think this third eye atlas is part of it. And I think it's supposed to arrive on the 19th. Is that what you heard, Rob?
Three Atlas, or what? I'm not sure. I haven't heard
Okay,
it.
yeah,
I'm not
well,
sure. Is that what they're thinking? They're thinking it's gonna.
well, that's. I think it's supposed to be visible to the naked eye on the 19th or so, but they keep changing that date. But that date is interesting because, you know, if we get into this time of year, you know, this is a very important time of year throughout history. It's the time of the winter solstice, which means the sun is at its lowest point on the horizon, and it stays there for roughly 3.5 days, and then it rises again. That's the whole notion of the sun rising again. They kind of mix the Easter story with a Christmas story, to kind of like create confusion, have fun with us. But so you've got that astrological activity happening, and the word, you know, and so they have Christmas happen at the same time, so it's all related, right? And the Santa Claus story. So, you know, when you look at the word Christmas, it's got astrological significance because Christ part of Christ Mass is related to Krishna, Krista, Christ, right? And that comes from the Vedic deity that's related to the sun. And then you've got Mass, M-A-S, which is related to Masa, another Vedic term that refers to the lunar cycle. So really, Christ Mass is astrological in that it means sun, moon, right? And so look to the heavens for what's going on, and the heavens are basically saying nature is kind of like shutting down for a few days, getting re-energized, getting regrouped, getting reorganized, and then it's going to like start being reborn and taking us into springtime, right? And so we've got another event in the heavens, which is this incoming comet. And you look to the original event during the birth of Christ, you've got these three entities, the three wise men following this star. It's a very famous part of the narrative, the star that they followed. It was a moving object. It was an anomalous object. It wasn't a star. It wasn't a planet, you know. So it's been conjectured that it was a comet or something like that back then, right? So we've got this incoming comet now, which looks like it's the same kind of thing that's going to be in the sky, and it's going to be on the 19th. What's crazy as I was looking at the lunar cycle for this month, I said, well, is it going to be the brightest thing in the sky, or is the moon going to be out? Well, lo and behold, the moon is a new moon on that day. There's going to be no moon. So what are the chances of that? 1 in 28, right? There's going to be no moon. So like this is going to be the brightest thing in the sky, just like it was then. And I didn't know that until I put this.
So it's like a moon blackout again, kind of like, right? Didn't that happen last month too? At some point,
A
was it the month
blackout?
before that we had a moon blackout? Like,
Well, I don't know. What is a new moon anyway? How come we can only see a new moon if there's an eclipse? Why is that? Like, it's just what is the moon, right? But
yeah, it's weird.
But anyway, it's not going to be visible, and the only thing visible is going to be Atlas. Third, and they call it the three eye. They call it the third eye, you know, which is what the whole Christ narrative is about, activating your third eye, you know, and filling your body with light and realizing that connection to the all, right? So, and they call it the third eye, three eye Atlas. Again, Manly P. Hall, look at things in terms of symbolism, right? They're telling us right there. And the people that run the show, do you talk about the Masons much and this theater they run all the time on us, on your show? The secret societies, these people, the Jesuits, etc.
Yeah.
So, okay, so like to me, and I really got it during C19. Can we use the other word now? I don't know about prohibition still on this platform, but you know, like to me, when they showed how the masses are ready to line up and take orders, it was like, oh, I see what humanity is. And it was, to me, it was an initiation, right? It clearly was for everybody. We walked through an initiation where it's like you had You know, they try to drive you into fear and take the jab, right? Or say, no, I'm not going to do that, and stay not in fear, stay the opposite of fear, right? So it's kind of like it was a test, right? So it's kind of like if you stay not in fear, you get to go to the next level, right? You get to see the next thing we throw at you, right? So to me, what's coming right now is just fantastic, and another part of their initiation, and also the Atlas part of it's kind of interesting. Call it Atlas, three Atlas. Well, do you know about the Atlas motif in mythology? What Atlas represents?
Would it be the Atlas, the Titans, or something? Was it Atlas a
Right.
Titan?
Yeah. Like how typically in school we'd learn that he was there to hold up the world. He was it was as his penalty for angering Zeus. He had to hold up
Yeah.
the world on his shoulders for eternity, right? Well, it turns out that it's also can be interpreted that he's holding up the heavens, which is our skull, the head. The Like the Bible says, the kingdom is within, right? When you activate your third eye within, you have access directly to heaven, right? So Atlas held up the heavens, which is your skull, and actually your first vertebrae is called Atlas. So with this three-eye Atlas motif with the comet, they're telling it's all those things. It's Atlas holding up your head where it's got the third eye, and we're calling it the third eye. They couldn't make it more obvious to me. You know, how do you feel about that? I haven't heard really anybody talk about it like this yet, but that's what I see, and that's what they want us to think. Those that like have overactive imaginations and can see through their shenanigans.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I do. It's something. I mean, I don't.
oh,
You know. Yeah, I think you're onto something for sure.
well, so okay, so check this out. Do you know who the Fabians are, or the eugenics? You know about eugenics, right? The
Yeah, I know about you. Yeah,
and the Theosophy Society with Blavatsky and how they were, you know, well, first of all, when you look at our reality from the beginning, from like let's say the Genesis account, when let us create man in our image, it's been a genetics experiment from the beginning, right? By the Elohim, you can call them whatever, the Anunnaki, or um, clearly there was some genetic manipulation in the past, and throughout the Old Testament it's like, let's test our experiment. Oh, it didn't work out. Sodom and Gomorrah, they're too gnarly and there's too much craziness going on. Let's just wipe it out and start over. There's a lot of been like resets and restarts, and let's like wipe out our creation, start again, and keep working towards this perfected man idea of the Freemasons. And so when you look at back to, okay, this is part of the three-eye Atlas 2 thing too. So that represents the star of the east. So you need to look at the three wise men. Are you familiar with that idea in the Christmas story? The three wise men following the star, and they brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh to the new
yeah.
Christ.
They say those three wise men could have been actually magi, like magic. Magic men. Like what do you think of that?
Well, they clearly were, because they were from a high culture. So if you look at Rudolf Steiner's work, he
I
was
love
part of
Rudolph.
the. Oh yeah, amazing, right? So his ideas were that he was tied to the Theosophist. Then he went off and started his Anthroposophy movement, kind of more like, because the Theosophists were more like Eastern based, and he wanted to get more into like this Western Christian kind of idea with his narratives. Anyway, so it was his idea that the three magi were the three kings, and they came from three different parts of the world: Lemuria, um,
Atlantis.
Atlantis, and the third was an Aryan, the Aryan tribes. So that's fascinating, because as Gordon Wasson pointed out in his Soma book, which is about the Amanita being the Soma of the Rig Veda and the Vedic culture and Hinduism and yoga and meditation and all that, leading to all those ideas. The Aryan tribes brought the Amanita from the north down into the Indus Valley. So now we're seeing in this Old Testament account that the Aryan was the one that brought the gold to the baby Jesus. So, but Steiner kind of like draws a parallel to Theosophy, because Theosophy is about these root races, like they're very racist, right? These people that are like the genetic engineers. So they talk about like the fifth root race, which is the Aryans, right? So that's why there's this war on, the Caucasian now. It's a war on the Aryans and the fifth root race. But he says what we're moving towards is the sixth root race, so the fifth root race, like not necessarily just the Aryans, but like right now, if you want to realize this place of Christ consciousness, raising your Kundalini, activating your heart chakra, your Merkaba field, it takes a lot of effort, right? Typically, it's like decades of dedication, diet, fasting, breath work, preparing your spine for this energetic activity, right? Most people that go through all the hoops to get there never get there, to have a full activation. So he's saying what's happening in the world, and this is part of maybe the blue cachina, the new world, the new golden age, is there's going to be now beings born here that arrive with Christ consciousness. They're already activated. Like, I don't know, you call them light workers, like the real light workers, but they're going to be activated with Christ consciousness, and it never goes away. They're always activated. Like they're walking around like we're going to have a bunch of Jesuses walking around, like working miracles. Like he says that's the sixth root race, and that's what the Magi represent. So it looks like something like that is happening again with this event, with this star in the east. Like, maybe it's time for this sixth root race to start coming in, So yeah, and I didn't know about that before until I got ready for your show. Something about getting ready for your show, I've got out on these rabbit holes, and it blows my mind. Like, and it all kind of fits.
It really does. Now it makes sense to me what this. I mean, this was the best. This was the best explanation of what Three Eye Atlas could actually be I've heard yet so far.
Yeah. And I put in the show title that Three Eye Atlas bringing feathered serpents. Because there's this talk about there's alien beings on there and they're reptoids, right? Somebody was saying they're reptilians, right? Reptilians, but in our narrative now, we know the reptile represents the Kundalini energy, the coiled snake at the spine, right? So like whenever there's a reference in pop culture to like the snake or the serpent, or you see it in logos, like the Alfa Romeo has a snake logo, right? You'll see it kind of around. It's all a reference to the snake of the garden and the Kundalini energy and the awakening, right? That you can realize within. So see, like even people now that are like agent provocateurs, like CIA, like posing as like insiders or whatever, they're saying, there's reptoids on the, like they're drawing that parallel, right, to like this reptilian influence on Three Eye Atlas, which is the Kundalini serpent. Like, so there's more support for what's really happening, which is this other thing, right? It's this cosmic shift, right, in consciousness, in timeline, So yeah, I think we'll see in a couple of weeks, right? Can't wait.
I can't wait either. It's going to be insane. I mean, it's Renee said in the chat that they said they're going to activate the National Guard. She said people are going to be going crazy.
Well, yeah. Well, who can handle Christ consciousness taking over? Like we live in a world of lies. Like it's about truth. Truth is coming in. The truth and the way is coming in.
Man, Gerald Clark would have loved to see that. He would have loved to live to see that. That's right up his alley. I know Renee's probably really liking what you're saying, because that I could see Gerald really being into something like this. Like this would be something he talked about even. It's fascinating, Brad. It really is. Like, should we go to Rumble now so we can, or is there some more like historical stuff you wanted to cover? Like, well, we're already on Rumble. I'm just like going to take YouTube off and just kind of transition. What do you think?
Is it time to do that?
No, I mean, well, if you want to start talking about, is there more historical stuff you want to cover?
Like YouTube ready stuff. Well, can we do a promo here before we go?
they won't let us.
You can't even mention it, like your affiliate.
Well, just look at the links in the description, guys, and come with over us to Rumble right now, because we're going over there now, and we'll be able to talk more freely there about, you know, like everything.
We're gonna get into what a Kundalini experience looks like. I had one, and I'm gonna tie that to the King Tut motif, which blew me away. It's the same experience I had when you look at the King Tut death mask idea. That's his Kundalini connection, and it's the same one I had, and it's there in the motif. That's the story we'll get into, and then, you know, we'll get into how, you know, Amanita is a basis for all of these ideas, up to the feathered serpents and what the feathered serpents mean in detail. So yeah, let's go over there.
And we're going to get into the new product too, guys, which is Druid's Delite, but I can't talk about it on YouTube. I can say that much, like, you know, and it's an amazing product, but like, for whatever reason,
mistletoe?
I'm not allowed to talk about it on YouTube. So
can we say mistletoe? Like, can we say mistletoe? Mistletoe? I just did. Yeah, right? I mean,
yeah. All right, I'm going off YouTube. 1 second before they, you know, okay, we're good. Okay.